Well, it is hard to believe it has been 15 years since the miracle on the Hudson, when 155 people survived an emergency landing in New York's Hudson River. That plane was headed to Charlotte, and many of the passengers on board were from here. WCNC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden covered that story that day and has ever since.
Yeah, she sat down with some of the passengers who were part of the history and how their perceptions have changed over the last few years.
The passengers we talked to say in the last 5 years, their perspective has really changed, and their new takeaway, something we can all learn from.
Only words he ever said to us was, "This is your captain speaking, brace for impact."
When I first heard brace for impact, I thought that was it.
Yeah.
I had to kind of quickly go through the grief cycle and accept it.
I can still smell the smoke, the puff of smoke coming from the engines. I can still hear the sounds. I can hear the sounds of people whispering to each other, what happened, what happened.
So I saw the engine on fire, flames shooting out the engine, and that to me was like, this is not good.
There were just so many little frames that I just stick in your mind. They don't fade.
If I close my eyes, I can relive the scene exactly.
There's pieces of the puzzle that come back to me.
Time slows down. I'm thinking, you know what? I've had a pretty good life, and it was the calmest I've probably ever been in my life.
When Flight 1549 from New York to Charlotte crashed into the Hudson River, that was just the beginning of the ordeal. The 155 people on board, many from the Queen City, had to figure out how to get out of the plane and survive the icy waters they'd landed in.
And once the plane settled, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at I'm in one piece. And then the water comes in, and I'm not a swimmer.
I remember being helped up the rope ladder, and I remember the bitter cold, and my fingers were absolutely frozen as well as my feet.
15 years later, and they all say the memories are as clear as ever.
I literally remember stepping over the little ledge of the window to get onto the wing. I jumped in the water, which was not a great decision, but at the time I thought it was. I remember somebody pulling me back up onto the wing. I remember the moment when we saw the ferry on the other side coming, and that was a moment of, okay, we're gonna be rescued.
An amazing feeling of hope, like, oh, we might actually live through this.
My kids were 4 and 8 when this happened, and now they're 23 and 19. So I've seen a lot of graduations and life milestones.
When those milestones happen, do you think each time, wow, I'm still here for this, and I might not have been?
Yeah, I do. I got to see high school graduations, college graduations, graduate school graduations. I mean, it's been a lot in the last 5 years in particular, and it's been really special.
Gratitude became a daily feeling of thinking, I'm so glad that I get to experience this too. My youngest grandson was 3 months old, and he's 15 now. And the difference, all of those differences. I have a granddaughter I never would have seen.
15 years later, their memories are clear, but their perception of that day has shifted a bit. In the last 5 years, these miracle passengers all say they've come to a similar realization about that day.
There were 155 humans on that plane that day, and not all of them were the same ethnicities. There were different religious backgrounds. They spoke different languages. They identified gender differences, but we all came together as one.
The most important lesson, we saw the best of humanity that day, all around us and our fellow passengers. Obviously, Sully and Jeff and the crew and the first responders, we saw the best of people that day. And I want us to look for that again. Find the best of humanity everywhere.
We were given a gift.
No. Yes.
To be here, to continue to help other people.
Yeah.
And so I would just challenge people, especially in today's world. I'm constantly saying, wow, this is a very selfish world we live in. What would you lose by letting go of some of that and actually helping someone else?
Yeah. Look for the hopeful part of this, that we can be good human beings if we try.
We really could have talked to these guys all day. Their stories are so fascinating. So we've got lots more from each of the passengers. You can find their extended interviews on our website, WCNC.com. Reporting in Charlotte, Michelle Bowden, WCNC Charlotte.
Incredible messages from those folks.
Certainly is, yeah. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, as Michelle alluded to, we will have continued coverage of the 15th anniversary, including an exclusive sneak peek at the new museum that houses that plane and the conversation with the WCNC Charlotte crew who covered that crash, that landing in New York City. So watch for those stories throughout the day tomorrow, right here on WCNC Charlotte.